Hello everyone. Let's understand and learn how to configure read-only replica in availability group cluster. This is very much important feature which you can utilize to achieve stable performance in the cluster. Let's get started. By default, when you connect listener, both read and write queries are directed to primary replica. But this might lead to high load for primary replica and you might experience slowness. To decrease the load, you can configure read-only routing in primary replica. After you configure read-only routing, select queries can be routed to secondary replica. This can greatly decrease load on primary. Also, you can configure load balancing mechanism by using read-only routing. You can just direct select queries to both primary and secondary also. SQL Server direct select queries to either primary or secondary based on round-robin routing. Now, let's configure read-only routing and I will show you these features with real examples. Okay, I have this availability group cluster, AG cluster. And in this AG cluster, I have two replicas, primary and secondary. And you can see primary is ending with 8U, secondary is 3K. Okay, this is correspondingly this SQL VM1 is this one, primary, and the 3K is this SQL VM2, secondary. Okay, in this cluster, I have this database test database 2, and I have this listener. Okay, very much a simple structure. Now, with this structure, all the update and select queries is coming to this primary replica. Okay, and so I want to distribute this select query. I want to direct select queries from here to this secondary replica. For this, I will configure read-only routing. Before configuring read-only routing, you should make sure that you have this AG listener. Okay, you should configure listener. Otherwise, you cannot configure read-only routing. So I have this AG listener already, and what I will do is now I will start configuring read-only routing. I will click on properties. Okay, then in this properties you can see here two replicas, right? And I have already enabled readable secondary. Yes. Okay. You should make sure that you should make this property of this secondary and primary, right? Yes. Okay. If you make it no, for example, you cannot configure read-only routing for this server, for example. You should make sure that this is yes. Then what I will do is I will go to read-only routing. And here you can see read-only routing configuration. I don't have any configuration now. You can see it is blank, right? So what I will do is, first of all, I should put read-only routing URL here. Okay, from where I can take this? Simply, I can go to general, and for this server, I will just copy this URL. Okay, go to read-only routing again and paste it here. One important point. Here you can see the port number is 5022. Okay, this is synchronization port. Okay, this is synchronization port. You should not use this port number. You should use SQL Server port number. In my case, it is 1433. Okay, now this is for this server, right? And for second server, this one, I use this URL. Okay, and paste it. And I will delete 5022. Okay, now this is called read-only routing URL. Okay, now we configure it, read-only routing URL. As soon as you configure this, availability replicas will appear here, right? You can see. Now what you will do? You will configure now read-only routing list. What does it mean is, when this replica is primary, right? When this replica is primary, for example, imagine, if select query comes to this replica, to where this select query should be routed, right? So I will add this replica first. Okay, 8U. Okay, it means I'm saying if select query comes this 3K, okay, route it to this secondary replica. Okay, then I'll also add this one also, 3K also. This means that I'm saying if select query comes to 3K, try to route it to 8U. If 8U is not available, just process the select query on 3K. Okay? So, very much simple, right? Now, for second one, I will also configure in the same way, but in the reverse order, right? For 8U, if select query comes to 8U, direct this select query to 3K. If 3K is not available, direct it to 8U. Okay? So in this way, you can configure read-only routing. Okay? Now you might ask how to configure load balancing. Here, load balancing is not working, right? Because first we will try to 8U. If 8U is not available, we are directing the select query to 3K. This is not load balancing, right? You can configure load balancing in another way. Let me show you here, for example, right? I will remove, and remove. To configure load balancing, you will just select two of them together and click add. Okay? Now you can see the difference, right? It is not one after another. They are together in the same line. This means that direct, if a select query comes to 3K, direct select query to either 3K or to 8U. Okay? But when it comes to 8U, do not do load balance, but direct it only to 3K. If 3K is not available, 8U. Okay? In this way, in two ways you can configure read-only routing, in load balancing or sequential order. Okay? So I will just remove this one. I don't need load balancing in my case. I want to do it only in sequential order. I will just do this one, 3K. If 8U is not available, I will just direct it to 3K. Okay? In this way, I configured my read-only routing. Okay? Now, I hope that you understood how to configure load balancing, how to configure read-only routing in another sequential order. Okay? So, now click OK. Now, that's all. Okay? You configured read-only routing. And it means that whenever select query comes to 8U, it will be directed to 3K. If 3K becomes primary, it will be directed to 8U. Okay, very much simple. Now, how to check whether read-only routing is working, right? What I will do is, I will go to client here. Client, this is my client machine. Let me check it with this client. Okay, I will try to connect to this AG listener and check whether read-only routing or not working or not. For this, let me test this one. Okay, for this, what you should remember one thing. Okay, in the SQL CMD I'm using, okay, and in the SQL CMD I'm connecting. This is server name. This is AG listener. I'm connecting to AG listener, right? And I'm specifying here. You can see database, right? And this database is my test database 2. Okay, this is my AG database here. This, okay. You should specify AG database. If you specify here another database which is not part of AG, read-only routing does not work. Okay. For example, if you specify this replica, this database, or this database, for example, right? Here, read-only routing does not work. you should make sure that you specify your AG database while connecting to your listener, so that read-only routing works. And the next thing also, you should specify read-only application intent. Okay, read-only you should specify. Okay, so I hope that I'm meeting all the conditions. Now I'll try to connect. Okay, now you can see I connected. And let me check to where I connected. So for this, I'll just write down. Okay, sorry about that. Select add server name. Okay, and then type go. Here we go. You can see I'm connecting to 3K, which is my secondary. Also, I'm connecting to listener as my connection is going to 3K because this select query and this connection is select. Okay, this is not update or this is not some kind of data change operation. So therefore, all this my query, this my connection is directed to my secondary replica. Okay, this means that my read-only routing works. It's working, right? Let's do this. Try to do the same with SSMS. Let me show you how to do that with SSMS. You go to SSMS and click connect. And here you specify listener name. Okay. Do not just connect here. Okay. You should go to connection properties and specify your database name, AG database. Okay. Otherwise, it might go to master. Okay. You just specify database. AG database. Then one more important thing, you should specify application intent read-only. Okay, do not forget this property. Otherwise, read-only routing does not work. Okay, so to summarize, first specify listener name, be sure that you are connecting to AG database, and be sure that you are including this application connection string. Now we will connect. Okay, as you can see, I am connecting where you can just open it. I'm connecting to secondary, right? So this is how the routing is created and how to check read-only routing. Okay, so everything is working as expected. For example, let me show you example where routing does not work. I will just remove this read-only routing, right? And first of all, you should just close once, just to prevent any kind of caching. And I will connect again as SMS. Okay, just a second. As SMS, I will connect. So I'm connecting AG listener. Okay, I'm specifying my AG database, but I will remove this one, application intent. Okay, now let's try to connect. Okay, so you can see if I open now, I'm connecting to primary, right? So you should always specify application connection string here. I mean, read-only property. Okay, do not forget this property, otherwise read-only routing does not work. Now you understood why we need read-only routing and how to configure it. In the next session, I will clarify how this read-only routing works internally so that you can troubleshoot different issues.